In this video, I will provide you with an easy way to calculate and figure out whether or not you can use pre-cut stringers for your project, or whether or not you're going to need to lay them out yourself to make them work for your project. And don't forget that I do have books on laying out stair stringers and building straight stairs at our website. Now, the first thing you're going to need to do will be to measure the length and height of your stairway, because we're going to need these numbers here to calculate the riser height and the tread depth. And the tread depth won't be a problem if the stairs don't need to stop at a specific point. However, the risers will. This is going to be the big problem here. And if you actually want each riser heights to be the same size, there's a very good chance you're not going to be able to use the pre-cut stringers unless you build the deck or floor to match the height for the pre-cut stair stringers. So that covers the risers. The next thing we need to do is think about the steps if they need to stop at a particular point. And this is going to be common in new home construction or remodeling. Another thing we need to consider is local building codes that might require you to have a 10-inch or an 11-inch minimum step and a maximum height for a riser of no more than 7 3/4 inches. However, you would have to check with your local building department in your area to verify this information. And yes, this might seem a little silly, but I've seen it before. When someone who doesn't really know what they're doing needs to make the stairway stop at a particular point using pre-cut stair stringers. And yes, it works both ways, either having a small step at the bottom or a smaller step at the top, or a larger step at the bottom or a larger step at the top. And the same holds true for the risers. I've seen stairways built with prefabricated stringers that have taller stair steps on the bottom, smaller stair steps on the bottom, and the same up here. Or you could even end up with both a small riser or a tall riser, a small riser and a small riser, or even a combination of something I can't even imagine, because somebody thought that a pre-cut stair stringer was going to work for their project, when in fact it did not. So you can always buy one stair stringer and then put it into a position that you think will work, and then break the level out and make sure that the steps are level and that all of the tread measurements will be the same and that all of the riser measurements will be the same. That's one way you can do it. Or if you're starting out with something like this, where you have specific measurements you need to work with, then you can simply start dividing a few numbers until you arrive at the length of your individual treads and the height of your individual risers. So let's go ahead and break out our calculator, and we have 3 foot 7.5 inches, and we're going to convert that to inches. So 12 times 3, that's 3 feet, equals 36 inches, plus 7.5 equals 43.5. And we can just divide this number by 7. I'm going to divide it by 7, and that's going to come out with 6.2. Now this is going to tell me that I'm either going to have 6 or 7 risers that will be around 7 inches tall for our stairway. So let's go ahead, clear this, and go back to 43.5. We're going to divide that by 6, and that's going to provide us with 6 7.25-inch risers. And you could always try dividing the next number lower or higher into the overall total rise to see what numbers you get for the individual riser. You might want to use one of those numbers instead. And now that you have the individual riser height, you can go down to your local home improvement center or lumber yard and see if they have a stair stringer that has at least 5 steps and your exact riser height or tread depth that you've calculated. And now for the bad news, if it does not, and it has 7-inch risers, or it's not going to have enough steps, then you're not going to be able to use it. However, you will be able to use it if it has more steps than you need, because you could always cut one of the steps off. And hopefully that makes sense. If not, rewatch the video or go check out some of our other videos on our website. I have plenty of videos on our website showing you how to calculate the individual riser height, tread depths, how to use a framing square to lay out a stair stringer, and like I mentioned earlier, even books that will help you build a variety of different stairways.